He said he wanted to renew our vows. Booked a photographer, a venue, told me to write a new letter from the heart. I found his letter early. It wasn't addressed to me. When I asked him who she was, he said, "Someone who actually inspires me." I let him think the ceremony was still on. But when he stood at that altar,
I'm Rachel. I'm 43.
I live in Asheville, North Carolina. I've been married to Aaron for 17 years. We have no kids. We were one of those couples that looked solid on the outside, but inside, things had been off for a while. Aaron changed over the last couple of years. He started working later, got weird about his phone, became colder in how he spoke to me, less patient, less curious about my life. I blamed myself for a long time. Thought I wasn't trying hard enough, wasn't attractive enough, wasn't interesting enough. Then, 6 months ago, he said something I didn't expect. He said, "Let's renew our vows." I blinked at him. What? He smiled and said, "I think we need to remember who we are. I want to fall back in love with you." That sentence hit me hard. I thought maybe, just maybe, he was trying. I asked why now. He said he didn't want us to become strangers. Said we were worth fighting for. He told me he'd handle the planning. He was always good at organizing stuff. He booked a venue. Said he found a great photographer. He told me to write a new letter, vows from the heart. Something honest and emotional. I actually started crying when he said that. It sounded like the man I fell in love with was still in there somewhere. I felt like I had a second chance to fix things. And for a few weeks, I really believed that. Until the day I opened his laptop. I was looking for a recipe. He left it open on the kitchen counter and went upstairs to take a phone call. I clicked into Word by accident. A document popped up titled Vow Letter Final. At first, I thought it was mine. Or maybe a template he was using. I opened it, curious. The first line punched me in the stomach. "From the moment I met you, I knew you were the one who made me feel alive again." My name wasn't there. And as I kept reading, my body went cold. He wrote about dancing in the rain, about how she made him feel young, how her laugh healed something broken in him. It was like watching my marriage slip away line by line. Then I saw her name.
Marcy.
He signed it Forever, Aaron. I sat there in the kitchen, staring at the screen while my ears rang. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just went still, like someone hit pause on my body. A few minutes later, he came back down. I closed the laptop, forced a smile, and pretended everything was normal. That night, I waited until he fell asleep. Then I took his phone from the nightstand and tiptoed to the bathroom. I locked the door. He had her saved as M. Sunflower. Hundreds of messages. Most recent one said, "I still can't believe you're doing this. I love you so much. When does she find out?" His reply, "Soon. I have a plan. She won't see it coming." I wanted to throw the phone through the mirror. Instead, I put it back, went to bed, and laid beside him. I stared at the ceiling while every ounce of love I had left burned to ash. The next morning, I kissed him, made him coffee, asked about the venue. He smiled, kissed my forehead, and said, "It's perfect. You'll love it." So, I started playing along. I went all in, helped him with details, gave him suggestions, smiled like a fool. I even told a few friends. I watched him lie with ease. I watched him pretend. And all the while, I made my own plan. I called the venue. Told them I wanted to handle the music and microphone setup. Told them to keep it a surprise from my husband. The woman on the phone said that wouldn't be a problem. Then I asked if I could reserve a front row seat for a surprise guest. She said, "Of course." I started writing a new letter, too. But mine wasn't a vow. It was a confession, a confrontation,
And a goodbye.
3 days before the ceremony, I noticed Aaron acting even more cheerful, like he'd won something. I could feel his excitement, and it wasn't for me. The night before, he didn't even sleep in our bed. Said he had groom stuff to get done with his brother. I didn't ask questions. I didn't care. The next morning, I got ready slowly. Took my time with my hair. Wore the same dress I wore on our 10th anniversary. He used to say, It was his favorite. I wanted him to see it one last time. I drove myself to the venue. People were already seated. The photographer was taking candids. There were white roses everywhere.
He really went all out.
Aaron was standing at the altar, nervous and smiling, like a groom on his real wedding day. Then I saw her.
Marcy.
She was sitting near the back, alone, wearing a pale pink dress and sunglasses, like she was trying not to be noticed.
Too late for that.
The music started. I walked down the aisle, holding my letter. Everyone stood. I looked straight ahead. Not at Aaron. Not at Marcy. I just kept walking, holding all the pain in my chest like a bomb waiting to go off. When I got to the front, the officiant smiled. Welcome, everyone. We're here today to celebrate the renewal of vows between Aaron and Rachel. Aaron, you may go first. Aaron pulled out his paper and started reading. He looked straight at me, like he meant every word. But those words weren't mine. When he finished, people clapped. Some even wiped their eyes. Then it was my turn. I stepped forward, unfolded my letter, and started reading. I stood there with my letter in hand. I didn't look at Aaron when I started reading. I looked at the guests. My voice shook for the first few words, but then I found my calm. Aaron asked me to write something from the heart, something raw, something honest. I took a breath. So I did. Aaron's face changed. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. He tilted his head like he wasn't sure what I was doing. I kept going. 17 years is a long time to spend with someone. Long enough to build a life. Long enough to believe they're part of your soul. Long enough to miss the signs when that soul starts lying to you. Now, people were whispering. Aaron told me he wanted to fall in love with me again. What he meant was, he had already fallen for someone else. Then I looked straight at him. You wrote a letter, too. Only yours wasn't for me. It was for her.
Gasps.
Real ones. I saw the photographer lower his camera slowly. One of Aaron's cousins turned to Marcy, wide-eyed. Aaron's face turned pale. I turned toward the crowd. Toward her. Marcy, thank you for coming.
I see you.
I hope you don't mind, but I read your text too. I know all about the nights at the Holiday Inn Express. The hiking trip to Brevard you two took last month while I thought he was at a work retreat. The picture you sent him in the yellow dress? He saved it. Titled it Sunshine. That was cute. She tried to stand up and leave. But I had already planned for that. Please don't go. You're part of this too. Aaron tried to interrupt. Rachel, let's not. No, I said loudly, cutting him off. You had your turn. You had your letter. Now it's mine. The venue was dead silent. I want everyone here to know that this man was going to stand at this altar and use this moment not to renew anything but to humiliate me, to lie to my face, to make a mockery of 17 years. I could feel the blood draining from his face. And, the worst part, he thought I was too stupid to figure it out. Now his mom stood up. Rachel, maybe we should talk about this privately. No. I've done private. I've done quiet. I've done looking the other way. This is mine now. I handed the letter to the officiant.
Keep it.
Might make a great story for your next wedding gig. Then I turned to Aaron again. You can have her. You probably already do. But what you won't have is me. Not anymore. Then I stepped down from the altar and walked out. I didn't go far, though. I had one more move to make. Because this wasn't over yet. I didn't drive away. Not yet. I waited behind the venue just out of sight. My hands were shaking, but I wasn't done. I had scheduled something else. 15 minutes later, I heard commotion inside. Raised voices. Some guests were leaving. Some hovered awkwardly near the drink table, whispering. I stayed hidden and waited. Then I saw her, Marcy, come out the side door. She wasn't crying. She looked furious. She was on the phone, pacing, probably calling a friend, maybe even her sister. I waited until she walked out into the parking lot. Then I stepped out.
She froze when she saw me.
Marcy, I said. She straightened up. I don't owe you anything. Maybe not, but you should hear something. She tried to walk past me. I didn't block her. I just said, he told you I knew, right?
She stopped.
I mean, before today, I added. He told you I found out, and that he came clean. She turned slowly. He said you two were separating, that you were living like roommates. I nodded. And you believed that? I guess I wanted to. I pulled my phone out and showed her a screenshot of one of Erin's texts from just 2 days ago. It said, she has no idea. I'm giving her this one last memory, then I'm done.
She'll be fine.
She always bounces back. Marcy blinked. Wait, he said, he told me. I raised a hand. I'm not here to fight over a man. You can keep him. Just know exactly who he is. She didn't say anything. She just stood there, blinking at the screen. Then her phone rang. Erin. She declined the call. I walked away, but not before I told her. You were the other woman. Now you're just the next one. I got in my car and drove back into Asheville. I thought I'd feel better. I didn't. Not yet. Because there was one more thing I had done. Before the ceremony, I sent an email to his boss, to the woman he had dinner with last week, who, it turns out, was also not me or Marcy, to the HR department of his company. Erin had been using his corporate card for some of those business trips. And I had receipts, literal ones, hotel bookings, restaurant bills, ride shares, all with timestamps, all with names. Some of them even overlapped. Erin wasn't just a cheating husband. He was a reckless one. And his job, that job he stayed late at every week, the one that gave him the salary to buy flowers for Marcy, let's just say he wouldn't be clocking in on Monday. The fallout was fast. Erin came home that night after the Vow disaster. I wasn't there. I was at a friend's place across town. He called, left voicemails, tried to act like I overreacted. Said we could talk about it like adults.
I didn't respond.
The next day, he called again. This time his voice was shaking.
They suspended me, he said.
There's an investigation. I didn't say anything. I just listened for a second, then hung up. He tried Marcy next. She wasn't answering either. Apparently, after our parking lot talk, she drove to his place, dumped a box of his stuff on the porch, and left. Erin started unraveling fast. Within a week, he was officially fired. HR found enough financial misuse to make it stick. He'd lied about where he was, who he was with, and what company money he was spending on. That business dinner he claimed with a client? That was a hotel suite with Marcy. The rideshare? To a massage parlor. The receipts didn't lie. He texted me again. Long messages this time. Stuff like, you didn't have to destroy me and I thought you loved me. I responded once. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped covering for it. Then I blocked him. The divorce went quickly. I had everything lined up. I took half of everything, including the house. He tried to argue, but I had all the messages, all the proof, and my lawyer wasn't playing nice. He ended up renting a room from a friend on the outskirts of town. No job. No woman. Just time to think. And I moved on. I didn't feel joy right away. That's the part people don't tell you about revenge. It doesn't fix the emptiness. But it gives you space to breathe again. It clears the noise. 2 months later, I took a trip. Just me. Went to Oregon. Hiked alone. Read books. Ate whatever I wanted. Didn't have to ask permission or wonder who he was texting. Sometimes, I still ask myself if I missed something. If I wasn't enough. But then I remind myself he didn't cheat because of what I lacked. He cheated because he thought he could. He thought I was soft. And for a while I was. But not anymore. I gave him 17 years. He gave me betrayal. So I gave him truth.
Public. Loud.
And unforgettable. He stood at that altar thinking he'd get away with it. Instead, he got everything he deserved. And me? I finally got free.